Hello everyone, welcome to the O7 podcast, a show exclusively about the films of 2007. I'm Tay and I'm joined by my co-host Lucy Alfred. Lucy, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You all right?
Yeah, let's talk about, like a gory, flawed masterpiece.
Yeah, let's talk about loads of people getting murdered and axes through necks and blood spurting everywhere. Can't wait for that.
30 Days of Night, or as the DVD extras would tell you, 33 Days of Night shoots.
Or in real life, actually, apparently the town actually has 67 days of night.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, yeah. That's an early fun fact for you, listeners.
They didn't have the budget to do 67 Days of Night, so you've got to shrink it down.
Well, yeah, and 30 days was kind of a bit arduous enough for the audience, so double that. A bit too.
We'll get into it, but I do have issues with the whole them lasting 30 days thing, but, all in good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so horror film, David Slade, 2007. Not 2007's best horror film effort, I would say, by a far cry. We'll get to those. But I've got some stuff to talk up about this film.
Yeah, same.
Let me lay out the story. So it's set in the northernmost Alaskan town of Barrow, which experiences long periods of night, and half to 2/3 of the town, when the winter sets in, they all just piss off because they can't handle the dark. They leave about a third of the town back, including the sheriff, Eben, played by Josh Hartnett. There's a bit of a weird scenario with his estranged wife, Stella, played by Melissa George. The first sign of things going slightly worryingly is that a bunch of different instances of vandalism happen across the town. So all of the sled dogs get killed, and all of their mobile phones have been found in a big old pile of burning plastic.
Yeah, you're beginning to realise that they're getting cut off.
Yeah.
And anyone that murders the dogs, you know that they're bad news.
Exactly. They encounter a guy who's only called the Stranger, played by Ben Foster, and he is the portent for bad things to come, naughty vampires. And when the sun goes down, they all come out and paint the town red.
Literally.
I cracked that joke to Josh Hartnett in an interview.
Oh, wow. He's name dropping now, kids.
And I said it with such gusto that he said, "You've been dying to say that, haven't you?" And I genuinely hadn't been dying to say it. I just thought of it because he was describing what happens to the town.
Was he nice? Sorry.
Yeah, he was really nice, actually. Really nice.
Is he tall?
Yes.
He looks tall.
He's a 6-footer.
Yeah, 15, 16-year-old Lucy is giddy with excitement that you met Josh Hartnett. I loved him so much. I was actually talking about it last night with some pals about how I became obsessed with him after watching Pearl Harbor, rented it on DVD from Blockbuster. I watched it several times over that weekend, went back to Blockbuster the following weekend and watched it again and again, and then thus proceeded my love of Josh Hartnett. So, very excited to know that you met him, that he's a nice guy. The way that they do the blood on the snow, epic. There's a tracking shot, like an aerial tracking shot as the vampires are rampaging around the town, and there's just blood everywhere all around on the snow because obviously it's northern, it's cold. Oh, it's great.
Like I said, there's some moments in this film that are not terrible, but
definitely.
Yeah, so I think that's the story, and essentially they get whittled down, and the question remains as to whether or not they'll all survive the 30 days, or if any of them will survive. What kind of vampire film is this for you, Lucy? Are these vampires, "I bite you," or are they like, as you previously described?
So I would say they're actually somewhere in between. They are definitely, they have their own weird language. Apparently it's made up. It's made up language.
Totally made up.
And there's the lead vampire has a kind of Dracula vibe to him. But there's no romancing. They're very monstrous.
They're not sexy.
They're not sexy.
So built on a really cool premise, that is that in some northernmost parts of the world, it's dark for a very long time, a bit like Pitch Black. And so what better place to stage a kind of invasion by vampires? Naughty vampires. Naughty but not sexy.
They even say at one point in the film, we should have come here sooner, as if they'd not thought of that. They've been around
Yeah,
for hundreds of thousands of years, according to the film.
yeah.
But, you know, they're dumb, so...
They're slow.
Yeah.
They're the remedial ones.
Crazy that they would just, you know, rampage the town and eat everyone. They haven't got anyone left. Crazy.
They went a bit nuts. Maybe
Yeah.
they calculated the... Yeah, we don't know, right? Maybe they calculated the population of the town in winter, and then thought, well, we'll have a bit of fun at the start, and then we'll put some in storage, let some get away. They're in storage for later.
Well, he does actually say, we've kept our story a secret and a myth for hundreds of years. We can't let anyone survive. Maybe they're also like snakes, you know, like they can go for a really long time without eating and then they engorge themselves. Maybe this was a big old feast for the vampires.
Their biting style, which isn't sexy, reminded me a bit of Cookie Monster. They were like, nom, 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 nom,
oh yeah, it's so disgusting. And all of their teeth are sharp. They don't have the stereotypical extra long canines. Every single tooth is sharp, really bestial.
Yeah.
Also, question, why do all the other vampires have kind of almost like alien eyes, whereas the main guy doesn't have that? He just looks like a guy with white makeup and black contact lenses in.
I know. And I was distracted because the woman who's kind of like his sidekick,
Yeah.
I'm sure they did something with her eyes in sort of CG.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because I was watching them behind the scenes for this, and she looks relatively normal compared to the finished thing. Maybe they had a bit of budget to throw at some eye enhancement.
Well, also like face, like her face is like strangely angular.
Yeah, that was her face.
Oh, right. Okay, she's very thin. I mean, obviously, I am well endowed in the cheek department, so I wouldn't know what that's like. You need a lot of CGI to make this face that thin.
I'm sure it can be done.
Oh, yeah. We've seen those Snapchat filters.
What is it, Lucy? You get the dots on there.
Get the dots on there.
Get your dots on.
Get the dots on. Get me on a green screen and change that face.
Yeah, so Lucy, you didn't like it.
The thing is I'm not really a huge horror film fan. I really like horror films until you see the monster. But I do like a vampire film.
Yeah.
So I got into vampire films when I was like doing my A-levels. After having been a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan for years, really just like got into watching different vampire films. And in my media studies A-level, I wrote about the symbolism of the vampire in cinema and what it means at different times in history. Starting off, like, of course, Bram Stoker's Dracula novel, and then moving through into cinema and TV. And that was one of the things that made me realise I wanted to study film at university, because I loved writing about that and like doing all the research into it. So yeah, I have watched quite a lot of vampire films. I do, know quite a lot about them, about the lore. Find it interesting. This isn't my favourite vampire film, but it is pretty good. And I think it's good to have a range of vampire films where, haven't just always got the seductive Dracula who uses his glamour to seduce vulnerable women. We have the real monstrous terror element where they are inhuman and
feral.
they have real thirst for blood, and they are just monsters. So yeah, and I think they did it really well, where they didn't really know what was going on at first, and then started to realise what was happening, but they couldn't quite bring themselves to believe that they were vampires.
Yeah, no one says it. Yeah, I think like you, I think this is definitely a flawed film. I think they kind of wasted a really great concept. The concept carries this film, I think, for a good 2/3. And you think, this really needs to kind of stick the landing on the ending. And I don't think they do that. In fact, I'd completely forgotten how this film ended. So it was at least refreshing and entertaining to watch it play out again. I haven't seen it in a long time. But yeah, it's not good. It's a swing and a miss, I'd say. Not awful, kind of silly.
It's kind of silly in elements. But for the horror fans, it ticks all the boxes. You've got the suspense, you've got the gore, you've got the monster, you've got the hero, you've got the heroine. It has all the tropes like she survives, he dies. So, yeah.
Seeing as you identify as a vampire film fan, where do these vampires rate on your sliding scale of movie vampires?
Oh, that is a sick question. I think, well, you've obviously got Blade. He's a sick vampire. But does he count?
I think he does count.
Yeah.
But he's a conscientious objector, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
But I think I'm with you on Blade insofar as I think Deacon Frost is a great vampire.
Yeah.
And even his dummy, his mate who keeps getting his arms chopped off,
Yeah.
who coins the phrase, I'm going to be naughty. I'm going to be a naughty guard. They are fun. They are great. They are great vampires. Stephen Dorff I thought was particularly good.
I love a Lost Boy vampire. Sexy 80s vampires.
On my list, yep.
Can't beat Interview with a Vampire. Bit of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Sexy vampires.
Really sexy. Not sure about Tom Cruise's wig though, but
yeah,
really sexy vampires. Oh, hang on. What about the Bram Stoker's Dracula with
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. Yeah. That doesn't. No, but I think that does a good job of showing the sexy side and the monstrous side.
Are we talking tithead Gary Oldman, or are we talking? It's either tithead Dracula or Kings of Leon Dracula, isn't it?
Yeah. But my favourite vampire of all time is Spike from Buffy, which technically isn't a film vampire.
That's fine.
But
We'll let it go.
He has to count because, yeah, he's the best.
So the kind of weird Cookie Monster style biting that they do reminded me of this Key and Peele sketch where one of them, who has just become a vampire, who's just like a regular guy in regular clothes, a regular attitude, is not happy with how everyone else is so sexualized and gothic and weird and sort of flamboyant. And when they eventually bite the sort of the virginal woman that they have there, they're all like shaking their head like that. And then he's just like, man, did you even get any of her blood in your mouth? I feel like there was a lot of that vibe in this film.
Yeah.
It seemed very inefficient.
Yeah. Well, that's why they needed to rampage through a whole town to get what they needed.
So there's two things that I was thinking about when I was watching this film. Firstly, once you get away from the silly Cookie Monster horror of it, was that I like the fact that they can just be killed. Like, there's no secret way to kill them. There's no ritual or anything. There's no, stake through the heart. It's like, just blow the head off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. And the other thing that harks back to I Am Legend was about sort of design.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Yeah, they're much better. But, I mean, that's a masterclass in how you can make them all look the same but different. Same but different.
Yeah, but with very little... just dip the lower half of their face in blood and make them very pale. And that was enough. It was effective. Job done.
Also the teeth.
Yeah. So just to round out some of the cast, Danny Houston plays the lead vampire. Quite funny to watch him play this for a couple of reasons. Firstly, he's like a professional actor, and he gets to come in and just kind of do that weird tilty heady, screechy stuff and the weird language.
But don't you think he looks like he's about to go to the office? He just doesn't look like a vampire.
Or like Colin.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like a middle-aged, slightly puffy-faced guy on his way to the office, maybe after having a heavy night the night before. He
did look confused.
Yeah, he's like, why am I here? Why did I say yes to this role?
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't alienify his face more like they did with the others. I don't really understand that. But
he said that because they all had to wear those big contacts, he said that his peripheral vision was greatly reduced, and so he had to do a lot of looking around, like turning his whole head to see things, which I think helped his kind of getting into character.
Yeah, definitely. It worked.
Yeah. But what was also funny was because he's the guy who utters most of the dialogue. Was and I don't know about the version that you watched, but the version that I watched had some really funny sort of attempts at
That was the one I watched.
subtitling.
Yes.
Well, I know that there was a bit that you told me about, but there was another bit that I noticed, right? So when they're in the shop and they find the little girl vampire,
Yes.
and they've got her pinned to a wall.
Yes.
That bit, and spoiler alert, the little brother he chops off that girl's head, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the I swear the subtitle right up to that moment is Sonic is here.
Yes, Sonic is here. Yeah, exactly. So the bit that I sent you was, so the vampires have this made up language, which is sort of like kind of weird things. And so I'm guessing the AI of Amazon Prime was trying to listen to what they were saying, because it kept also calling Evan.
Yeah.
And so it's got subtitles for the vampire language, but the Amazon language said cut the dick, and then it goes into the dick jaw heart.
See, I think he's had enough of his vampire existence, and he's trying to give the survivors tips on how to get rid of them.
Cut the dick heart.
Yeah, cut the dick heart, the heart of the dick. Which goes back to the steak thing, I guess.
Yeah. Use the dick as the steak. It's cold enough, they can freeze it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, very, very funny. I didn't need an excuse to be distracted, but that was one fun thing.
I didn't realise that you had the same experience. Why didn't you say that when I messaged you?
I wanted to save it. The Sonic is here thing was the best standout moment for me. A moment when a child is being, albeit a child vampire, is being dispatched like quite violently. You need to feel something as a viewer. You should be feeling something like, oh, I get it, but this ain't right. But you're like, no, why the fuck is Sonic here? Where?
Where is he? This was a plot twist I was not expecting.
What a crossover.
Oh.
Yeah, amazing.
That is, wow. We haven't even started really going into it with the film, but yeah, that was great. So if you do watch it on Amazon Prime, be prepared for some jokes. Subtitling.
Yeah, like I say, but I do like the fact that this film does go to some places, like the sheriff's assistant, Billy, he kills his family in a bid to not let them suffer the same fate as everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's like, fucking hell, that's pretty heavy going. I've just watched a child get decapitated and being forced to think about Sonic at the same time. And now this dude, so this film is, not afraid to go to some places.
No, dogs murdered and children murdered. So
I mean, that's the other thing, is that this film made me think about The Thing quite a lot. And actually it made me think about a couple of John Carpenter films, The Thing and Assault on Precinct 13. I think if they'd have gone down the route of Assault on Precinct 13, which is more like just a siege movie, it's fantastic. It's a 70s sort of, crime cop thriller. It's incredible because the people that are besieging it's like this kind of crazy gang, like a street gang, but they are like, they're all like crack shots. They're all expert snipers, it seems. And they lay siege to this decommissioned police precinct that's staffed by like 4 people, and they're just waiting to go home and they can't leave. And you don't get the gang that is holding them there. They don't get characterized at all. They basically just appear out of the shadows, shoot up the place, and then just fade back out of shot. And it's like you never fully get that much of them, and it's so fantastically done in terms of teasing the monster.
Yeah, give me the tease.
Yeah, they could have really ripped a page out of that. And then obviously because it looks so Arctic, the thing springs to mind as well. especially with the dogs and the dog violence.
Yeah, doggy violence. We've had too much dog violence.
Yeah, it's 2007. It's the year of the dog death.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I guess the last cast member to mention, I think a notable mention is Bo, played by Mark Boone Jr., who is just the big bearded guy in everything. We need a big bearded guy. Everyone says Mark Boone Jr. at the same time. And he has a great moment as well. His rampage with his big truck, his big kind of Arctic digger or whatever it is. That's a lot of fun.
It's kind of a digger that's got stakes.
It's got a massive chainsaw on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's grim, and see everyone get mashed up in that.
Yep.
Pretty good. I love a bit of that.
Yeah.
If you're going to have it, you got to have it. This is sort of erring on slasher horror, really, and so you need to just get into it. It's like need a bit of blood, but not as I would say the blood not as red as Sweeney Todd, but just as effective and disgusting.
Yeah.
So we got it. Well, didn't someone's head explode?
There's two head explosions. One where Eben shoots someone just with a handgun.
Yeah.
That guy's head just comes apart. And then another guy, when Bo does his rampage on his digger, he shoots someone with a shotgun, and that guy's head just kind of falls apart as well.
Yeah. Grim. Would a head really explode if you shot it? I always wondered that.
I mean, backwards maybe, but they seem to explode outwards. Yeah, mind blown.
I guess it depends the range, the bullet type, the gun you're using.
Yeah, so and the caliber of the bullets.
Yeah,
a shotgun is a wide spread, which is more effective at close distances rather than a handgun. This is more precise.
You know too much about guns.
I know. This is it. Farmer.
Didn't you have a stepdad in the military?
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. He was more of a knife guy, though.
Oh, fun. Good. Better?
I'm going to see him in a couple of weeks.
Oh, fun. Maybe you can tell him that we gave him a name check in the podcast.
No, I'm not naming him. He's on someone's wanted list, I think.
Big up that guy.
Yeah, big up Dad. Other Dad.
Fake Dad.
Lucy, any themes you want to highlight for this film?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, vampire films often denote a sort of something that's going on in the zeitgeist or in society at the time.
Do they? Give me an example.
Yeah, so I think with Dracula, the original story, it came out at a time of where there was a lot of propriety. Everyone was having to be proper. And chastity, and along comes Dracula, who literally impales and enters a woman, and there's a transfer of bodily fluids, and it's that thing of transfer of bodily fluids that at different times in history has different meanings. And so I guess it's interesting to think of this within that context, because actually 2007 was a pretty good year, and there wasn't anything going on in that way. Whereas if we look at something like I Am Legend, which obviously is a vampire film, same year, but it's referencing more of a virus outbreak, which had we had SARS then? I think we had, hadn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so and the threat of an virus outbreak has been within the public consciousness for a very long time. Obviously, we had the Spanish flu pandemic just around the First World War time, but as with globalization and the way we're all living in close proximity to each other, it is something that governments around the world had been ready for a long time. So you can kind of see that link there. But with this is kind of just a traditional horror film. But I think outside of that, the themes are there's a theme of isolation, loneliness, what it's like to live in extreme conditions. At one point someone says, we choose to live here so that, we are kind of outside of jurisdiction a little bit. I think that's early on where Bo has oil leaking out of his truck and Eben gives him a ticket for it. You've also got the theme of sort of relational breakdowns, and what that means. So I mean, it's not really trying to make any political statements, but it is quite interesting if you are interested, like digging into like the symbol of the vampire throughout cinematic and literary history,
Yeah.
and where it's placed and what's going on at the time.
Yeah, I didn't get a sense that it was trying to make any kind of statement other than like, here's a great concept, let's go with it.
Yeah, but it might have been when it was originally pitched, and obviously we know, as you mentioned, that Steve Niles spent a long time trying to pitch it, and no one would pick it up, so he made it into a graphic novel. So potentially, I don't know, I haven't looked into it enough, but potentially he started coming up with the concept when it was more relevant. But who knows? 2007 wasn't really an era for it.
No, it's completely unsurprising that Sam Raimi and another Evil Dead alumni, Robert Tapert, were the guys to pick this up and run with it, because Sam Raimi cut his teeth on creating some pretty excellent horror films.
I don't think if you are a big horror fan, it would leave you super unsatisfied. However, the Rotten Tomatoes
I know
rating would disagree with that. But I think there's definitely worse horror films out there.
I know last week I slated critics for being so contrary and giving something like Sweeney Todd a collective 83%, I think it was. I'm going to now do what I accused them of doing by saying that I think this deserves more than its 53% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the audience rarely lies, because they were pretty close to that score as well. I think it was like 50-odd% of the audience score. So that's kind of surprising.
Yeah. But I guess, it is what it is. Can't really, like you say, they voted with their feet, but it does surprise me because I've definitely seen way worse horror films. So what aspects do you like the most?
I think up to a point it managed to convey an atmosphere of tension. I think Josh Hartnett carries a lot of that because he does a really good job of looking scared. Like for the authority figure in the town, he does at times look genuinely like, I don't know what I'm going to do here.
Yeah.
He's not a hero in that sense. And that is refreshing. You're caught out a little bit and you're like, oh crap, what's going to happen here? He conveys that with, looking really like unnerved and unsure of himself even. So I think up to a point that atmosphere carries through until we get to the last act, which, is, I think they really box themselves in with the whole, let's do this, let's stick this out for the whole 30 days. Like, it's quite literal. Like, I think I would have enjoyed it if there was absolutely no way they were going to even last like 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Let alone 30.
Yeah.
And so it was a mad scramble to just survive for as long as they could. And that you build that up so, they react, you get the counter reaction, which is more savage, you get them having to get more and more desperate and do something crazy, which then, forces the vampires to try and burn the town down because they know that they've got a limited time and they need to make it look like an accident so they can just fade back into obscurity. Yeah. All of that could have happened over, a 2 or 3 day time period rather than like do these little time jumps where it's like 7 days, 18 days. Like, really? They look like the same as yesterday.
Yeah, well, exactly. And also, they didn't have any visual signifiers this time to say that there had been a passing of time. It was just like someone said something, and I was like, "Oh, okay, time has passed."
Yeah. You had Josh's beard.
Yeah, well, really, I was like, I didn't even notice that.
No, I know. I am kind of joking, but he did say like one of the hardest things that he had to do for this film was to grow a beard.
Yeah, I think just like it is quite unbelievable, the passing of time. And I mean, obviously, I don't know if this, but I'm guessing it must be in the comic graphic novel, but he decides to be the hero by injecting himself with vampire blood to fight them at their own game, beat them at their own game with their strength, because he was like, we can't fight them alone, we need their strength.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit silly. But quite cool because you see the blood going, like the poison,
Yeah.
vampire venom going into him. And then he gets all like sexy black eyes and he's like sexy Josh Hartnett, like half vampire, half human.
And somehow he can really fight all of a sudden.
Yeah. He's just like so great.
Yeah, what a transformation. Not just like in terms of his appearance, but like his ability to have suddenly just learned all of these ninja moves. Just
Like Neo in the
practically,
Matrix.
yeah, he just like, I now know vamp foo. And he dispatches with the lead vampire pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
That made me laugh out loud, that
It is
stuff,
pretty
actually.
silly. It is pretty
Yeah,
silly. But they
yeah.
were, like you say, they kind of got to their rope and they were like, we need to tie this thing up, guys. We need
Yeah,
to finish it
exactly.
up.
Wrap it up.
We need
Come
a
on.
denouement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
Like, I don't think there's much else. I liked the tension. I liked the setup and the initial kind of onslaught. I think that all that stuff was really well done. And I like the extents that they went to in order to shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you, Lucy?
I very much enjoyed the nod to The Shining early on in the film, where the stranger is walking in the snow and you see his face in the hood and he looks like Jack towards the end of The Shining when he's in his hood and he's all cold. You know, the famous thing where he's like frozen in the ice. Yeah, I loved that. And that was so ominous. Like, he's come off a ship. Who is he? How's he stomping around the snow? They really built up the suspense there very well. And as you said, we very early on start to see that they're being cut off from an already isolated area of the world.
Yep.
Phones, the satellite phones all being burnt, the Huskies all being killed, cars breaking down, Stella not being able to get back. This, she missed the last flight.
Yeah.
All of these things sort of keep going. And you then have the lines earlier on where someone says, hell of a day, and then the stranger says, just you wait. And you're like, oh, something's about to happen.
Yeah.
So it really sets it up well. And I think you told me it was a vampire film, but because I hadn't seen this one, and I think I didn't see it because it looked silly from the trailer. I don't like a silly, it's a bit. I mean, it isn't actually silly in real life, but I think I watched it and I was like, nah. I think I had started to see the tropes of vampire films there, like setting up the suspense, and obviously it's nighttime, and then blah blah blah. So I think they did that really well.
Yeah.
And I think the scene where they're all holed up in the attic and chaos begins to unfold, where they're all in disagreement about how long they're going to stay up there and what the plan is, and that they can't stay there and where are they going to go, etc., etc. And I think that's realistic. When people are desperate, the worst thing happens. And I mean, we've seen it in so many other films where people are desperate and locked up and end up descending on each other, but they did that really well in that really confined space. But I think, as I said, it was really unbelievable how long they had spent up there. And we only see them go to a shop once. And as I told you when we watched I'm Legend, I love to see how they survive in a apocalypse. Yeah. What are they eating? Where are they going to the loo? What medicine are they using? All of that stuff. Love that. And I think the interplay between the sort of hero and heroine was nice. Started off lots of animosity, ended up with him in her arms, with him being burnt to ash by the sun.
Yeah, lovely.
Really romantic, lovely ending.
Yeah, so you want to go.
Yeah, lovely.
It's a metaphor.
And we never know why they broke up in the first place, because, as she said, we haven't got enough time in the whole century to go through all of that. So goodness knows what was going on at home between Stella and Eben. And I think ultimately the vampires themselves were good.
The bald guy gets a lot of screen time.
Yeah, he's savage. Really, really well done. And a real nice, refreshing contrast to the bubble head, big mouth, bald men of I Am Legend. So it's good. As I said, it's like a kind of background horror film, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, I think Ben Foster does a really great turn. He is especially creepy. But I think I've mentioned the bits I liked. The high points that are obviously the high points were the high points for me. They were well done. It's a well executed film up to a point, up to, the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
David Slade in the behind the scenes talks about how he wants the vampires to be very feral and not ostentatious. But I think that the way that they bite people is quite ostentatious. And like I said, not efficient.
So would you prefer more of a just
there's too much head shaking. Like they just need to like bite and then get further in and get further in. Yeah, you see how you're reacting.
Yeah, like bit of gristle. Yeah,
it's like that bit in Shaun of the Dead where the woman looks like the woman zombie. It looks like she's snogging the guy outside the pub when they're pissed and going home, and his head almost falls off. Like it's hanging by like a thread of skin. It's a bit like that. They should be getting in there like with that kind of intensity.
Getting right in there.
Really you need dinner. Yeah. Do you want to do fun facts?
The vampires speak a completely original language. It was created for the film with the help of a linguistics professor at a New Zealand university, which, by the way, New Zealand is where they filmed most of the film. And a lot of the actors were either Aussie or Kiwi. So yes, the film language isn't cut the dick.
No, it's not.
Cut the dick heart.
Sonic wasn't here.
Sonic wasn't there. So yeah, it is a made-up language. And so Barrow, the town that it's set in, is now called Utqiagvik, which I'm thinking is probably an indigenous word. And I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm just pronouncing it literally like the letters that I can see. But yeah, so in reality, Barrow doesn't see the sun for about 67 days during the winter. That would suck. Why does anyone live there?
I'd be all right with that.
You would, because you're weird. Look at you sat in the dark now.
I go to Norway in the wintertime where it's like dark at midday. I love it.
Yeah. Are you actually a vampire, Tay? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No. I passed the test.
That's it for fun facts from Lucy. Tay, do you have any fun facts that you haven't already mentioned?
I've got some. You mentioned New Zealand, where this was shot. The wide exteriors were filmed in a snowy bit of New Zealand, and they were shot day for night.
What does that mean? I saw that in my research and then forgot to look it up. I've never heard of that.
Oh, sure. It means you shoot during the day, but you colour so that it looks like it's nighttime.
Oh, that's exactly what I thought it meant.
It's pretty literal. I think you could probably work it out. I should have just shut up and let you.
Yeah, but how I don't know, that's pretty impressive. It's not like, like in the old days, like in old James Bond films when it was supposed to be nighttime, clearly filmed in the day, and it's just like, there's just like a grey sheen over it, but everyone's like wearing sunglasses in the background.
In lighting terms.
Come on, tell me.
Well, you use a lot of what's called negative fill. So negative fill is just like huge black panels. So instead of normally using a fill, which might be a huge white panel so that you're reflecting light onto sort of the other side of someone's face or body or whatever, you use black panels to take away some of the reflective light, 'cause they're surrounded by snow. So you use a lot of the black panels, negative fill, to block out some of that light. So then you take it into colouring and you colour, you select the skies and you darken everything. Darken all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that's good because otherwise they'd be knackered. That would be like however long it took to film it. Always filming it at night, and obviously it's really hard to film at night anyway.
Well, they did I think the bulk of the film was shot at night, so they did 33 days of night shoots. Apparently, they drank 20,000 cups of coffee. That's a production estimate.
Whoa.
It's probably more. There's a fun sort of segment in the behind the scenes about how knackered they all were. It's just like a progression of just how they look more and more tired, and it mirrors the film. I think that was it for me. I'm out of fun facts.
That's fine. Tate, is there anything more or less relevant to you in 2025 with your 2025 lens, looking back at the 2007 film?
I don't think in terms of there is a fun little thing that I'll get to, but in terms of the film itself, no. Like this could easily be made, and it's probably been made several times over, and like several times cheaper now than it would have been in 2007. This was a $30 million budget, and I think its kind of box office was something around 60 or 50 million. So it made its money, but it's a genre film, so they can either go really massive or they do okay. I think this one did okay, although it did spawn a few kind of spin-offs. There was a straight to DVD film sequel and a TV show apparently, which I don't think anyone saw because I'd never heard of it.
No.
And obviously more comics. But yeah, no, I don't think this had any particular kind of resonance now. Only for me because I like I like to be within the Arctic Circle around this time.
Did this inspire you?
No, but one thing that is funny and sort of weirdly prescient, not intentionally, I don't think, was in the behind the scenes stuff. There's a little bit at the end of a segment where Josh Hartnett is pretending to be a diva, and David Slade is pretending to. Well, David Slade looks at the camera, rolls his eyes, and says, "Ugh, in a few years we'll just be able to just CGI all the actors anyway, so this will be fine." I was like, "Wow, David Slade! If only you knew of what you speak."
Exactly.
Lucy.
Yes, babes.
Anything more or less relevant in 2025?
I think the roles would be reversed. I think there'd be a woman. It wouldn't be Eben, it would be Evelina.
I want to talk about ratings. So I look back to see what one of my colleagues at BBC Movies rated this as in 2007, and it got 4 stars. And I'm impressed and surprised that we went out on a limb and didn't kind of ride with the dogs and give it a really shitty review. But that reviewer, I think this film spoke to her, and that's fine. I enjoyed it as well, I think.
Yeah.
Flaws and all. I think I would have given this a 3, a sort of generous 3. And today it would be the same, maybe 2.5.
We're adding in halves.
I don't know if you remember, Lucy, but last week I introduced the concept of halves.
You did, you did.
They're going to be
sure
my saving grace for all our films that I pick out.
I didn't know if it was going to stick.
It is. It's canon.
It's canon. Okay. I will give it 3. Solid 3. Because it isn't awful. And it ticks a lot of boxes, as I said. It did entertain. I stopped making notes at one point because I was quite hooked into it. So, yeah, 3. But it's not winning any awards, is it? Yeah,
it's a generous 3. That's fine. If you like vampire stuff, I would recommend watching Midnight Mass if you haven't, on Netflix.
I have not.
Which is a limited series, 6 episodes and you're done. It is great. It's by Mike Flanagan. He's done loads of good stuff. He did The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, man. Love The Haunting of Hill House.
Midnight Mass is really great. It's up there with Salem's Lot for me.
Okay. This must be really good then. I'm going to get on it.
Oh, it's superb.
Okay. I'll definitely watch it.
Right. Film done. I want to recommend something that isn't from 2007. Lucy, are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, this is a new thing. In the never-ending quest to find interesting content on YouTube, I happened upon a YouTube channel, and I don't know. You check it out before it disappears because I can't see this thing lasting. But basically, there's a YouTube channel just called DVD Extras, and it is just uploaded hundreds of videos, like several a week, of just ripped DVD extras from films. And there is so much stuff on there that I'm gonna watch, not just because of 2007, but just generally.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. It's just called DVD Extras _ on YouTube.
That's really funny because I saw a meme earlier today that I tried to send to our Instagram so that I could share it. But it was I took DVD extras very seriously years old. And I wanted to share it because it's very relevant, because a lot of the films that we are watching, I'm like, we've managed to find, but I do think I'm going to have to find some of them on Duvda. So yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, that's so funny that you mentioned that. Okay, well, I have a very good friend who loves DVD extra, and we talk a lot about when you were like at a sleepover watching the DVD, and then the DVD extras thing would just like keep going round and round and round.
Oh yeah,
and you'd wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just been like in my dreams, the sound of it.
So that's my recommendation. Check it out before it gets taken down.
Okay, I mean, my content recommendation is like nowhere near as good. I was going to recommend, it's kind of in the same vein in terms of sort of spooky gothic, The Sandman on Netflix, the series. Season 1 was excellent. Season 2 I really enjoyed. There were parts it just sort of dragged on a little bit. I think it went on a bit too long. I know, sorry, I do think it did. But yeah, brilliant. Super gothic, fun, interesting, references all of the stories that we were brought up on as kids, all your Greek myths, your biblical stories, your supernatural stories, and weaves it into this world of dream and death. It's just absolutely excellent. Loved it. I particularly love is it Desire? I love Desire. Oh my god,
got an amazing voice.
Yeah, just an amazing actor. Their like costume excellent. The way they personify Desire, brilliant.
Imagine if they cloned and then jacked up Mark Ormond.
Yeah. Great shout. Yeah.
Lucy, that was 30 Days of Night. We did it.
We did do it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would say, if you like a spouty, splurty horror that gouts blood for good 2/3 of the film, and then it kind of like trickles, it sort of starts to sort of, coagulate, and it gets a bit pathetic towards the end. If you're okay with that, this ain't too bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks very much, folks. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do so by emailing 07podcast@gmail.com. All right. Thanks, folks. See you next week. Say goodbye, Lucy.
Goodbye, Lucy.